When a woman starts ignoring you, most men make the critical mistake of reacting emotionally. They panic, they chase, they blow up her phone, they demand answers, and all that only pushes her further away. What you need to understand is that silence, calmness, and composure are your strongest weapons in these moments. When she ignores you, the absolute worst thing you can do is show that it bothers you. The second you do, you give her ego the satisfaction of knowing she has control over your emotions. And once she knows that, she'll keep testing you, keep pulling away, and keep treating you like an option. The way you win this silent battle is by being unbothered, by showing through your behavior that her attention or lack of it doesn't define your value as a man. Think about it. If you're calm and collected, if you don't chase or demand answers, it creates a powerful shift in her mind. She expects you to react. She expects you to get upset or insecure. But when you don't play that game, when you stay centered, it disrupts her ego. She begins to realize that she doesn't control you the way she thought she did. She starts wondering why you're not reacting. And that's when the tables turn, because now she's the one questioning herself, questioning her choices, and questioning why her silence isn't working on you. Staying calm doesn't mean you're ignoring reality or that you don't care. It means you're grounded enough to not let anyone pull you out of your frame. A man who truly values himself doesn't need constant validation, and he certainly doesn't chase after someone who's giving him the cold shoulder. By remaining steady, you communicate with your actions that you're confident in who you are, and whether she's present or not doesn't change that. That kind of composure destroys ego because it exposes the truth. The only power she has is the power you give her. This is why being unbothered is so effective. It's not about playing games or being manipulative, it's about controlling what you can control. Your emotions, your energy, and your response. You can't stop someone from ignoring you, but you can control how you react to it. And when your reaction is silence, calmness, and an unshakable sense of self-worth, you remove her ability to get under your skin. That's when she starts to feel the sting because she realizes her tactics aren't working. She realizes you're not chasing, not begging, not losing yourself over her. And that's when her ego begins to crack. The man who stays calm when ignored shows strength that most men don't. He shows he's not desperate, he's not needy, and he's not willing to lose his frame just to keep someone around. That calm energy not only protects your dignity, but it also shifts the dynamic in your favor. Because the one who's unbothered is always in control. And that's exactly why the first step in destroying her ego when she ignores you is to remain calm, centered, and unshaken. When a woman ignores you, she's not just pulling back for no reason. She's testing you. She wants to see how much control she has over you, how you'll react, and whether you'll break your frame. Many men fall into the trap of chasing harder, texting more, showing anger, or begging for attention, and in doing so, they hand over all their power. What you must understand is that ignoring someone is often a power play, whether it's conscious or not, and the most effective way to respond is by refusing to feed that game. This is where protecting your energy becomes critical. Protecting your energy means you don't allow yourself to be drained by situations or people who don't value you. If she's ignoring you, you redirect that energy back to yourself instead of wasting it trying to force her to give you validation. This shift is what changes the dynamic. Instead of her silence taking up all your focus, you put that same focus into your goals, your health, your growth, and your happiness. You stop seeing her silence as rejection and start treating it as redirection to invest back into yourself. That, more than anything else, disrupts her ego because it shows her she isn't the center of your world. Think of it this way. If she ignores you and you keep chasing, she knows she's in control. But if she ignores you and you move on with your life, she feels her grip loosening. That's when she starts to question herself. That's when she wonders why you're not reacting, why you're not affected, why you're not begging for her attention like others would. Your decision to protect your energy forces her to look in the mirror and realize she doesn't hold the power she thought she did. This isn't about revenge or trying to get her back. It's about self-respect. When you stop pouring your energy into someone who's ignoring you, you build yourself up. Instead, you show through your actions that you value your time, your peace, and your purpose more than you value chasing someone who's pulling away. That mindset alone destroys ego because it flips the script. Suddenly, she's the one left wondering if she matters as much to you as she assumed. Women are drawn to men who don't let their world collapse just because of silence. By protecting your energy, you demonstrate strength, discipline, and independence. You become more attractive, not because you're trying to manipulate her, but because you've proven that your validation comes from within, not from her responses. So when she ignores you, don't fight for her attention. Don't lose yourself trying to win her back. Protect your energy, focus it on building yourself up, and let her feel the weight of her own silence. That's how you maintain your power and show that her ignoring you doesn't break you, it only makes you stronger. And that's how you truly destroy her ego. When a woman ignores you, the natural urge most men feel is to confront her directly, whether through angry words, constant questioning, or desperate attempts to get clarity. But reacting emotionally only fuels her ego. It confirms that her silence is working, that she has the ability to control your mood, and that she can dictate the rhythm of the relationship. The more reactive you are, the more power you give away. That's why maintaining composure is one of the most powerful responses you can have. Composure is not about pretending you don't care. It's about mastering your emotions so that her actions don't dictate your state of mind. When you stay calm, steady, and unbothered, you send a clear message: I control me, not you. That in itself is intimidating because ego thrives on your reaction. Without your reaction, her attempt to test or manipulate you collapses. She realizes that ignoring you doesn't shake you, doesn't derail you, and doesn't put you in panic mode. Instead, you remain centered. That calmness, that grounded presence dismantles the power she thought she held. Think of it like a chess match. If your opponent makes a move expecting you to respond impulsively, but instead you take your time, remain calm, and strategize, you throw them off balance. The same applies here. Her silence is a move to provoke you. Your composure is the counter that renders her move meaningless. This isn't about indifference. It's about emotional strength. A man who can keep his frame regardless of what's happening around him stands out. He shows he's not easily swayed or manipulated, and that forces respect. Another reason composure is so effective is because it shifts focus back to you. When you don't chase, beg, or explode, she doesn't get the satisfaction of controlling the narrative. Instead, she's left alone with her own silence. Over time, she starts wondering why you haven't reacted, why you're not chasing, why you're not proving yourself. That uncertainty eats at her ego. She thought ignoring you would make you scramble, but your composure makes her question herself. Suddenly, the power dynamic reverses, not because you fought her, but because you refuse to be moved. This is why composure is so powerful. It speaks louder than words. While others might fold under pressure, you stand firm. While others might act desperate, you act grounded. That contrast alone sets you apart and commands respect. In relationships, respect always precedes attraction. If she doesn't respect you, nothing else matters. But by keeping composure, you demonstrate you are a man who won't compromise his self-worth for anyone's attention. So when she ignores you, don't react with chaos, react with calm. Don't give her the drama she expects. Give her silence, stability, and strength. That is what makes her ego crumble, because nothing destroys ego more than realizing it has no control over you. And in the end, that's the power you hold. Walking away with confidence is one of the most powerful moves you can make when a woman ignores you. Too many men stay stuck in situations where they are no longer valued, waiting for validation or clinging to the hope that things will go back to how they used to be. But staying in a space where you're not respected only weakens you. The real power lies in knowing when to remove yourself, not out of anger, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Confidence in walking away shows that you understand your worth and that you refuse to settle for crumbs when you deserve the whole table. When you walk away with composure, you take back the control she thought she had. Ignoring you was meant to test your patience, to pull you into a chase, or to feed your ego. But instead of reacting with desperation, you show her that your value is not tied to her attention. You make it clear that you are not dependent on her for your happiness or your identity. That level of detachment is rare, and it sends a strong signal. You don't need her approval to feel secure in yourself. Walking away doesn't mean slamming the door or creating unnecessary drama. It means removing your presence with grace. You stop over-investing. You stop reaching out first. You stop giving energy to someone who isn't reciprocating. You do it calmly, without explanations or long speeches, because your silence and absence speak volumes. That's what truly disrupts her ego. She expected you to fight for her attention, but instead you simply removed yourself. That calm withdrawal makes her question her own choices. She starts to wonder why you didn't chase, why you didn't plead, why you didn't give her the reaction she thought she'd get. The beauty of walking away with confidence is that it repositions you in her mind. You go from someone she thought she could control to someone she has to respect. Women respect men who know their worth, men who have boundaries, men who don't tolerate being ignored or disrespected. By leaving with confidence, you establish that you're not afraid of loss. You're not clinging. You're not needy. You're strong enough to step away even from someone you once cared deeply about. And here's the truth, your absence often speaks louder than your presence. Once you're gone, she starts to feel the void. She realizes the consistency, attention, and energy you once gave are no longer there. At first, she might pretend it doesn't affect her, but over time, the silence grows heavier. That's when the regret sets in. She may try to come back, she may test the waters again, or she may simply live with the knowledge that she lost someone who wouldn't beg to be kept. Either way, your confidence in walking away leaves a lasting impact. So remember, when you are ignored, the greatest response isn't to fight for attention, it's to walk away with confidence. That's how you preserve your dignity, that's how you destroy ego games, and that's how you remind her that your value never depended on her acknowledgement. The most effective way to react when a woman ignores you is to shift your energy back onto yourself and focus entirely on self-improvement. Too many men lose themselves in the process of trying to win her attention, changing their behavior, their priorities, and even their self-worth based on how she treats them. But when you stop giving her that power and instead invest in yourself, your growth, your health, your goals, you transform the dynamic completely. She no longer sees a man waiting for her validation. She sees a man who values himself enough to prioritize his own journey. That shift is powerful because it communicates that you are not defined by her silence. Focusing on self-improvement means using the energy you would have wasted chasing her to build yourself up. Instead of sitting around wondering why she hasn't texted back or why she's pulling away, you hit the gym, you improve your finances, you pursue new skills, you strengthen your social circle, Every hour you spend becoming better is an hour that builds your confidence, independence, and presence. Women notice that shift because it's not just about the physical changes. It's about the energy you carry when you're genuinely committed to growth. You radiate self-assurance, and that makes her realize ignoring you didn't break you, it motivated you. There's something deeply attractive about a man who refuses to stay stagnant. If she thought ignoring you would leave you desperate or insecure, your self-improvement sends the opposite message. It shows that you don't wait around for someone else to determine your value. Instead, you create it yourself by becoming stronger, sharper, and more focused. That's how you flip the script. What was supposed to be a power play from her ends up fueling your personal evolution. And often, when she sees that growth, curiosity kicks in. She begins to wonder if you've outgrown her, if your silence and progress means she's no longer as important in your life as she once thought. But here's the key. You don't focus on self-improvement to get her back. You do it because it's the right thing for you. When you detach from the need for her attention, you start to see the bigger picture. You're building a life so fulfilling that whether she comes back or not becomes irrelevant. That's where true strength lies. And paradoxically, that's when most women begin to regret ignoring you because they realize you no longer revolve around them. By improving yourself, you create options. You attract new people, new opportunities, and new possibilities that reinforce your independence. Instead of being the man waiting for a text, you become the man others want to pursue. That contrast highlights just how much power you have when you choose to turn inward instead of chasing outward. So the next time you're ignored, don't waste your time trying to break through her silence. Use it as fuel. Build yourself, improve your life, and focus on becoming the best version of yourself. That's how you take control of the situation. That's how you destroy ego games, and that's how you make sure you always come out stronger, no matter how she reacts. When a woman ignores you, one of the most powerful responses you can have is to embrace silence and let it speak louder than any words. Silence is not weakness, it is control, discipline, and strength. Most men panic in the face of being ignored. They send multiple messages, they beg for attention, they try to explain themselves, and in doing so, they hand over all of their power. But when you choose silence, when you decide that you will not chase, not plead, not lower yourself just to get a response, you flip the power dynamic completely. And instead of you needing her attention, she begins to feel the weight of your absence. Silence works because it forces reflection. When she expects you to react and you don't, she has nothing to feed her ego. She can't play the game if you refuse to be a participant. At first, she might feel satisfied with ignoring you, thinking it puts her in control. But as the silence stretches, the satisfaction fades and questions start to creep in. Why isn't he reaching out? Did he move on? Did he stop caring? Those unanswered questions plant seeds of doubt, and soon enough, she feels the discomfort of realizing you are not waiting around for her. The longer you stay silent, the more powerful the effect becomes. Silence makes her imagination run wild. She begins to wonder what you're doing, who you're with, and whether your life is moving forward without her. And the truth is, it should be. Because your silence is not just about ignoring her back, it's about choosing peace over drama, dignity over desperation, and growth over games. It shows her that you value yourself enough to walk away from disrespect instead of fighting for scraps of attention. What many men fail to realize is that silence is a form of communication. It says, I will not tolerate being treated like an option. I know my worth, and I don't need to prove it to you. That kind of quiet strength hits harder than any argument or confrontation ever could. It's not about revenge, it's about self-respect. And nothing destroys someone's ego more than realizing the power they thought they had over you is gone. But here's the most important part. Silence must be real. It's not just pretending not to care while obsessing behind the scenes. It's genuinely detaching, genuinely moving forward, genuinely focusing on yourself. That authenticity is what makes silence so impactful. If it's fake, she'll sense it. But if it's real, she'll feel it, and the shift will be undeniable. So when you're ignored, don't try to fight your way into her attention. Don't give her the reaction she's hoping for. Instead, give her silence, not as a tactic, but as a reflection of your self-respect. Because at the end of the day, silence is louder than words, and it will always leave a lasting impression that no argument ever could. And that is how you win without lifting a finger